Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Symbol. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 3 of what if Naruto had ultra ego and was battle hungry. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I have 4 more channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, Anime Prince, guys. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and just obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Uchiha that created his own village? And enjoy that over in making too. So without further ado or waste no more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. So the last time we left off, the big announcement was made. Many of them did not even know of Naruto. When he was in the orphanage, he had been in the orphanage from a baby, going up to 5 years old, and he had left when he was 6. So many of them did not know about him. However, Hiruzen stick to his word as he was able to announce who Naruto was, who he was, whose child he was. Everyone was shocked to hear that. After all these years, a son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Well, it was a rather surprising revelation. So yes, as for Naruto, his skills were too high to become a normal genin or chunin. However, Hiruzen knew that he needed the experience. While he's been out there on the road for years now, he does not have that leadership quality. And hopefully if he wanted to take a team in the future, he was going to need that leadership quality. Yes, he was. As Hiruzen had made an offer to a few of his jonins, the one to step up was, well, Hiruzen was not really surprised. Naruto's mother had trained her. The idea also came into his mind perhaps. She was the one that had revealed to Naruto. It was none other than Yujiro Uzuki. However, he decided to give her the benefit of the doubt because he did not want to imagine that she had broken the rule that he had set and informed Naruto of everything. So he did not spoke to her about that. The word spread around the elemental nation. The Raikage knew of Naruto before he found out that he was Minato's son. It turns out that while Naruto was on the road for the past 6 years, he had encountered a team from the village. And one member on that team and Naruto got into a bit of a hassle. It was a Kunoichi. So the Raikage knew who he was, but he never knew about the boy affiliation with Minato. As for Oniki, many people wanted the boy to be put to death. Many hatred from the past has rised up. However, Oniki silenced those. He, like others, had lost a lot in the war, and he knew that by going after this boy, the time of peace that they now have would shatter, and Konoha would retaliate. So he decided to squash all of that. But he had no doubt in his mind that there was a few people out there that would still try to make a move. Even a few people from this village as well. He knew that they would try to make a move against the boy. But he would not authorize a single thing. All he wanted was just for things to play out normally, because he knew any move against his boy would just cause a lot of mayhem. Skipping back to Konoha, Mizuki had plotted with 2 other tunings, as he had promised them a lot. Therefore, They decided to betray the village. In the end, Mizuki slaughtered the both of them, as he caught them off guard. They would have never expected that. He alone was going to get what he desired from Orochimaru. So with that, Mizuki took the scroll as he was fleeing away until Naruto came landing in front of him. As the Hokage had placed out the search and Naruto had found him, Mizuki was screwed. In his mind though, he believed that he could take Naruto, which was probably his biggest mistake. It just took a few seconds as Naruto obliterated him. In just a few seconds, like it was nothing. Before he brought him back in agonizing pain, there was nothing at all that Mizuki could do about it. As we had a little time skip, as Yujiro was speaking to Hayate, her boyfriend, Naruto had threatened him if he hurt her that he would pop him into tiny pieces, as Yujiro had made a joke about it. When the day finally came, Naruto arrived on the field. As he was able to meet all the Jonin senseis, Yujiro was there as well. However, instead of Naruto fighting one of them, they were putting him up against all the graduated kids, even Team 9 as well. Naruto was pretty pissed off to hear that, finding it rather insulting to his skills as a ninja. However, she told him that it was also a test for them as well. He sighed before he decided to do it. They were given 20 minutes to plot and plan. And they did. Well, some of the members did not. In that 20 minutes though, Shikamaru saw the danger. The Jonin senseis truly believed that this guy could defeat them all, even the experienced Team 9. So with that they fought. The battle was completely one-sided as Naruto wiped the floor with every single one of them. None of them stood a chance. Once he was done there, he was bored, as he turned towards my guy, who was said to be one of the stronger ones. Jonin, that is. Both him and Guy decided to throw it down. Guy had to push himself, even more so than when he fought Kakashi. He opened the gates, as Naruto started to power up. That strange purple aura started to destroy the place. The trees were being destroyed. Not blasted, not burned, but destroyed. The battle was becoming too much. All of the others had to jump away. The battle was tearing the entire place apart and causing pure mayhem and destruction. So much so that envoys arrived believing that the village was under attack, only for them to find out that it was just two people that was causing this. Well, more so Naruto. Its aura was so violent and destructive, it was causing panic within the village. As they had to stop. Hiruzen arrived, they had to stop. They might end up destroying too much of the village. Naruto had also taken a vested interest in Hinata, as he saw something inside of her that she was hiding away, and he was going to train it out of her. Hinata had confessed that she wanted to be strong, to prove to them that she was strong. But she was just so shy. However, she hated the things they said behind her back when they thought she wasn't listening. The clan members, the older members, believing that she was the worthless one, the weak one, as Naruto had promised, to make sure that she was no longer weak. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the play check of yourself, and yeah, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. We begin this episode with Hiruzen Sarutobi. His office door opened as he glanced towards the individual that stepped inside. "You called for me?" "Yes, have a seat," he said. The individual was none other than Naruto, as he walked up and sat down. Hiruzen reached up as he started to massage his temples. "Please tell me that you did not fly into the Hyuga compound and kidnap Hinata Hyuga, and when the Hyugas came to your estate, you told them to leave, or you would blast each and every one of them if they did not." Naruto opened his mouth as Hiruzen raised his hand. "I'm not done yet. Please don't tell me that While Hinata was training with her sensei, you landed in the field and told Kurenai that her training was not efficient. And you took Hinata and flew away. Naruto opened his mouth. Hiruzen raised a hand. I'm not done yet. Please don't tell me that. You've gone around the village and you found several ninjas tuning up to Jonin level and challenge them in a fight. And when some of them refuse, you attack them to test the military strength of Konoha. Naruto opened his mouth. Hiruzen raised a hand. Still not done yet. And please don't tell me that you gather up all the students in the academy and brought them into the training field and forced all of them to attack you to see if they were strong enough to actually attend the academy. Naruto did not open his mouth this time. I'm finished now, Hiruzen said. Please tell me that all of that was a lie, he said. Can't do that, said Naruto, because all of that was true. Hiruzen sighed as he massaged his temples. First of all, what is your vested new interest in the Hyuga heiress, he said. She's my student, said Naruto. I did tell you that I was going to take a student. Yes, you did, but I figured that it was in the coming future, when you were more experienced. No, said Naruto. I saw something in her that I'm going to help mature and reach to its potential. Hiruzen seemed rather stressed out. The past few weeks with Naruto being here, a lot has happened. Even if she agreed to be your student, you can't just fly into someone else's compound and grab her and just fly away like that. Nor can you interrupt the training of her Jonin sensei. That woman, Kurenai, she's not fitted to teach her, said Naruto. She's too soft on her. And that way she's going to make sure that she's even softer and refuse to acknowledge or express her emotions. That is one of the things that she wants to change. Her family seen her as soft. And my training is going to help her, said Naruto. Hiruzen sighed. While your actions have done bad, they've also done good. Kurenai did not place a complaint against you because Hinata was grateful to you, despite the fact that she could not attend training the next morning because she was completely exhausted. She told her sensei that your training helped her and for the students of the academy, while the teachers complain about your unusual actions, and some of the parents, all the kids were ecstatic to be taken out of the class and fight a full-fledged Jonin of the village, especially the son of Minato Namikaze. So that was a big plus. And also, you've helped a lot of the Chunins and Jonins to see flaws in their attacks and defense. As much bad as you've done, you've also done some good. Of course, I know that, said Naruto. What do you think I was trying to do? I told you that I would be leaving this village for a few years, and when I return, I would be strong. What's the point of being strong if your village cannot properly defend itself? Hiruzen gave Naruto a look. And after your initial tests, what do you think? Utterly pathetic, said Naruto. Hiruzen blinked. No offense, but, well, little bit of offense. But why the hell is there a flower class in the academy? How is flowers gonna help the children? I know that you have to teach them about the kind of flowers like poison oak and others, but how is a full session of flowering going to help them in the real world? In my time outside, I've come across several dangerous people that shows me how truly messed up this world is. And if those children go out there with this stupid mentality, they're going to be killed. There is no if or but. They're going to be killed. That's it, said Naruto. Naruto's words were truly doing a lot to Hiruzen's state of thinking. The academy has truly lacked In the past years, things were a lot different from how they used to be. He was not even taking a full scope in the academy or looking into it. I'll look into it, he said. And look into the Chunin training, said Naruto. They're not strong for that title. Most of them are not even deserving of it. Hearing Naruto say that, an idea popped into Hiruzen's head. However, it would be for later on. I'll look into it, he said. Now what about Hinata, he asks. The girl is not at her home, neither is she with her sensei today. She's in my basement. Wait, please don't tell me that you're putting her under the same training that you are doing. Of course not, said Naruto. I wouldn't want to kill her, he said. Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. Anyway, her father has started to see changes in her. Something that is rather shocking given that it's only been a couple of weeks. That is one of the main reasons why he has not gotten himself involved in the issue. But you're going to have to be really careful in what you're doing. Remember, she's the heir of the Hyuga clan. There are still people watching, he said. And even though you do some stupid things most of the times, your training is helping her a lot, Hiruzen said. The idea that he was cooking up in his head, it was becoming more full frontal as he thought about it. Naruto got out of his seat. I'm gonna become Hokage, he said. Hiruzen blinked as he heard that. What do you say? I said, I'm gonna become Hokage. And when I become Hokage, I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna rip the old system down and build a completely new one everyone will be going through. Mandatory training, Naruto said. There was this look in his eye that had Hiruzen worried. Because Naruto had what it takes to become Hokage. However, he was worried for the future generation and what they had to go through. Not to say that he would be a bad Hokage, in fact, he would be a great Hokage. But his actions are just a bit too intense than normal speaking. However, it would do them some good, and the idea that Hiruzen was cooking up was becoming more and more in his mind. Time skip. As Naruto walked down toward the training room. Arriving there, Hinata was on the ground. The girl was sweaty. She was wearing a large jacket over her normal jacket. This wasn't any normal jacket. It was extremely heavy. She was wearing strange cuffs around her arms and around her legs as well. Naruto clapped his hand, startling her. What are you doing? He said. This is no time to rest. Hinata forcefully got back up. Over the past couple of weeks, the first day when he arrived, she was rather shocked. She thought that he had forgotten about what he said, but he arrived early in the morning and literally arrived at her window and told her to get ready in 10 minutes. She had no choice. She wanted to stick through to what she said. And she had promised herself that she will get stronger. And she saw what he did against all of them and including my guy. So yes, there was no question there that Naruto was strong. However, his training was truly intense. Kunai was really upset about him kidnapping her and just flying off. She had to be the one to plead with her sensei to get her to calm down, to tell her what Naruto was doing was actually really helping her. Kunai was sweet and all, but she saw her as a young, delicate flower that was easily broken. Maybe that was true, but she needed harsh training. And her new sensei, not to say that Kunai was still not her sensei, was helping her greatly. She was able to speak to her about working out a time frame for getting Naruto's help. And the training was paying off so far. Yes, it was. Time skip. Since the humiliating defeat, Sasuke wanted to find a way to prove that he was not worthless. Ever since he was defeated so quickly by Naruto, words from the past were rushing through his mind. You're not worthy to kill. It would be a waste to deliver the amount of energy to end your life. Those words were from none other than his bane of existence, Itachi Uchiha, the one that he wanted to kill the most. Naruto defeating him had brought back so many bad thoughts. But finally, after all these months, Team 7 was making their way out of the village for their first C-rank mission. Sasuke intended to prove himself, to show that he was stronger than anyone think, to prove to himself that he would be ready when the time come, to kill Itachi Uchiha, and nothing will stop him from obtaining his goal. So when they came across the demon brothers, Sasuke was fully ready. Sai and him both went after one, while Sakura protected the client. Sasuke was able to knock back the demon brother after pinning their chain. He moved forward, kunai in hand, to show that he could do what it takes. However, the demon brother was able to swing his leg outwards. Sasuke jumped over it and slammed a brutal kick right in his throat, causing him to gasp as he stepped back, choking. Sasuke rushed forward as he was about to end his life. However, he was so preoccupied in trying to prove to himself that he was great that he did not notice the gauntlet. The way it was turned, the closer he got, the more it would show that he was going to die. One single flick would have ended his life until, BAM! Kakashi reappeared. After faking his death to them, Sakura blinked in shock. She thought. She looked over towards a pile of wood. Sasuke was pissed off. He did not even see how close he was to getting stabbed in the back by that strange poison gauntlet. Yes, he might have stabbed the demon brother in his chest, but he would have been stabbed in his back. And who knows, with that poison, he would have probably died. However, that was not on his mind. He was pissed off that he did not take him down by himself. Kakashi was noticing the more erratic and angry behavior in Sasuke, something that he's been trying to cut out of him, but the more time passed, the more bad it seemed to be getting. Team 7 was not doing so well. Sakura was trying to be close with Sasuke, but he didn't even acknowledge her. Never as a love interest, a friend, or even a teammate. Sai was always making unusual comments that pissed Sasuke off and angered Sakura. Kakashi believed that on this mission it would bring them closer together as a team, to help them understand one another. So with that, they continue on. Kazuna told them who was after him. Just in case though, Kakashi sent back word to the village by his messenger dog for help, knowing that the trials ahead would be much more dangerous. Sasuke hated that because he wanted to show that he could do it. As they traveled, Sai kept on making strange comments that further pissed Sasuke off. With his usual fake smile, it was really antagonizing. The real threat came though, when they came across the true demon, Zabuza Mamakai. The bloodlust alone from Zabuza was able to make Sasuke think that he was not ready for this, to make him think that he could never ever defeat Itachi. He wanted to end his own life. His kunai was already out to put at his throat until a sensei voice cut in, promising him that he would not allow anything to happen to any of them. Unfortunately though, Kakashi was captured in a water bubble. He screamed at them to get out of here, as Zabuza water clones could not go that far away from the original. However, Sasuke refused. He would not run. He was no coward. Sakura, she couldn't leave. She just couldn't. Her legs wouldn't allow her. She was afraid, terribly so on her legs. Were not running away. Sai seemed unusually calm for this tense situation. Kakashi was upset. How could he get caught so easily? Damn it, and now his team was in harm's way. They had to do something to get him out of there. That was the only way that they could survive this, as Zabuza was not going to make it easy for them. That is when they heard something. Zabuza looked around but he did not see anything, until he looked up. Don't you dare The voice said. Just hang on, another voice said. Zabuza's eyes went wide. He had no choice but to leap away. The moment his hand left the spear, Kakashi leaped away as well. Boom! A massive wave spread outwards. Even the Genins had to jump back along with. Kazuna. Kakashi was knocked underwater. So was Zabuza, as the both of them climbed their way back up. She fell down on her butt, right at the sea bank. She was glaring at him. Never again. I told you we had to get here fast. Didn't you see the predicament? I don't care. Never again. You flew fast on purpose, just to piss me off, she said. Let me guess. You're still pissed off that I said that you were not that fast. Naruto crossed his arms. Of course not. Why would I care about that? She looked at him. Don't pretend around me. I know you too much to not know that, she said, as she picked herself up and took a deep breath. The group was confused. Well, Zabuza mostly. Naruto glanced over towards Kakashi. I must say, I'm disappointed. You can sit back now. I'll handle this. Naruto sprinted across the water. Zabuza brought his blade flat side down, which was a big mistake. He heard a sound. The blade was cracking. He was forced to jump away. What the hell? Naruto was above him as Zabuza swung. Naruto created a ki blast and slammed it on said blade, breaking a part of it. Zabuza's momentum was stopped as Naruto's heel dropped in his shoulder. A loud cracking sound could be heard. Zabuza bit back the scream that would have emerged from his lips. However, he moved his arm despite the agonizing pain and wrapped it around Naruto's leg. He then proceeded to slam his fist, full force because his blade was in his other hand, right into Naruto's face. Every ounce of force that he could muster at that moment. A violent amount of chakra added in. Naruto's body hit the water with a boom. As he was sinking, it seems. Kakashi got up, however, Yujiro placed a hand on his shoulder. Trust me, he's no way out of it yet. Zabuza watched as Naruto's head started to emerge from the water. He was sure that this kid should be down for the count. How are you still standing? Naruto was smiling. Nice punch, but it was just not strong enough. You want to know why I'm still standing? Why I'm still gonna win? Well, it's simple. You see, I was born with something inside of me that refused to settle for ordinary, that refused to believe in average. And I'm so grateful for it, said Naruto, as a purple aura started to surround him. I am a warrior. I am a destroyer, a force of pure chaos. And let me show you what that entails. The water exploded outwards. Both Yujiro and Kakashi leaped off said water. Zabuza, who could only use one hand at the moment, tried to block. However, Naruto punched his blade so hard that the force sent Zabuza sailing. He crashed. He skipped along the water like he was a stone before blasting through a tree. His predicament of being caught off guard and his arm out of commission truly messed him up. Naruto held his hands out as he fired two ki blasts. Zabuza leaped up in the air. As Naruto was ahead of him, Zabuza swiped, intending on slicing Naruto in half. However, Naruto brought his heel up and made contact with said sword, his body covered in his purple aura. The blade broke another time. Naruto was not done yet though. This time he flew forward. He shoulder tackled the man, right in his already wounded shoulder. Zabuza this time cried out. His body was sent spiraling. Naruto synced his body with tremendous speed and grabbed Zabuza's face. He then came down and boom! He obliterated the earth. Zabuza coughed up blood, soaking his bandages. He was a mess. Naruto flew up in the sky. Let's see you survive this! Rapid blasts! He started to fire at least 20 key blasts. They were all coming down as Zabuza realized he was gonna die. However, Naruto's eyes saw it at the last moment. A mirror appeared. Zabuza's body was sucked in along with its blade. Naruto's eyes tracked over the entire place until he found the opening. He held his hand up in the sky. A golden ball started to form. He started to shrink it. More, and more. Naruto then turned and threw it. It tore through the sky like a missile. Haku, who had just recovered Zabuza, eyes went wide as the ball of pure death was heading their way. Haku had no choice. Once again using the mirror technique, they were able to slip in at the right moment. Naruto glanced towards Yujiro and Kakashi. You might want to brace yourself. The moment he said that, the whole forest erupted in a violent blast. Trees, stones, the water, everything was blown their way. It was pure chaotic and pure destructive. Naruto floated back down. Yujiro did not seem surprised, but the others were surprised. Unfortunately, they got away, said Naruto. Time skip. The group had traveled towards Tezuna's house, where they met his lovely daughter, Tsunami, and his grumpy grandson, Inari. Kakashi had started the group training, realizing that he needed to kick it up a notch, given the captured situation that he was put in, and worried for their safety. First of all, they need to learn the tree walking. Yujiro was disappointed in her senpai that he's not taught them that yet. It's been a month and a half. He's really getting lazy. As Naruto laid it on him, telling him that he's rather weak, that he was pathetic for letting himself get captured. His words actually hit Kakashi. However, Naruto's words were not to show that he hated anyone, but he just said what was on his mind. Yujiro had told Kakashi that, and maybe he had let things slip just a bit, and not training them in the beginning was bad on his part. However, he was going to make up for that. Sasuke was irritated by the end of the day, as he could not get up the tree. Sakura was able to do it rather easily. However, she had so little chakra that she got tired easily. Sai was able to get it after a few minutes of training. He wasn't able to go all the way up, but he figured that he could continue tomorrow. Sasuke, on the other hand, he would not come inside until he was able to reach up to the top. Even as the sky got dark, Sasuke was still outside, pushing himself ragged. When he got exhausted, he stopped. And when he was back, he did it once again. Sasuke heard something as he turned. He was panting slightly. Naruto came walking out. It's time to come inside, Naruto said. You must be starving. Sasuke looked at him. I'm not hungry. Leave me alone. His stomach rumbled as he said that. Well, it seems your stomach has a mind of its own. I said leave, Sasuke said. Can't you see I'm busy? Well, you suck at what you're doing, said Naruto. What? Sasuke said, turning his gaze towards Naruto. I said you suck. You've been out here for the entire day and yet you still not reached all the way up yet. I must say, that's rather pathetic. I heard about you, you know. You're the last Uchiha within the village. It is said that the Uchiha clan used to be this all-powerful clan, but now you're one of the last ones left in the village. You're truly disgraceful to your clan. Watch your mouth, Sasuke said. What are you gonna do if I don't? Said Naruto. You know that I'm far above you, correct? Besides, my title is Jonin, not Jenin. Naruto held his hand out, a ki blast formed in his hand. What's the point of you going on if you're this pathetic? Even your pinkier teammate was able to get it, and she even seemed weaker than you. Sasuke clenched his fist as Naruto threw the ki blast. The Uchiha had to jump as it detonated, nowhere near the destructive force that Naruto had used earlier. Sasuke glared at him as he whipped out a kunai, holding it in his hand. What the hell are you trying to do? Naruto smirked as he formed two more. He launched them at Sasuke without talking. The Uchiha was forced to jump in the tree. Naruto launched two more to his side. Sasuke thought they were coming at him, but they whipped past the tree. As Naruto stepped forward, I told you, what's the point of you going on if you're this weak? Naruto created a larger one, extremely large. Sasuke's eyes went wide as he ran straight up the tree. To get away from the blast impact, he saw what happened earlier. This is going to end your life, Naruto said as he threw it. Sasuke tried to jump off the tree, but Naruto flew up so fast as he grabbed Sasuke by the throat and held him there. What are you doing? Let go of me, Sasuke said, as he saw the ki blast coming towards him. He saw what it did earlier to the landscape, and this one was far larger than the one that he threw. He was going to die. He was going to die without ever achieving what he desired, without ever proving to himself that he could get what he desired. Itachi was right. He was a failure. As he was saying that, a deep anger started to fester inside of him. No, he refused. He couldn't die. He had so much more to do. He couldn't die knowing that Itachi Uchiha still walked this earth after everything that he does. He refused to die. In that moment, his mind, his instincts, his feelings, his emotions sent the special chakra from his brain down to his eyes. Naruto raised his hand in front of Sasuke and blast the ki blast right in the center, obliterating it, to show that it was fake. There wasn't that much power in it. He dropped Sasuke, who was gasping, as Naruto had lowered himself, so Sasuke would not hit the ground from a high fall. Sasuke rubbed his neck as he looked up, hate in his eyes. All you needed was a bit of motivation, Naruto said, pointing toward the tree, as he had marked it. Sasuke blinked. And besides, it seems like that little event gave you something else. What are you talking about? Sasuke said. Use your headband and look at your eyes, Naruto said. Sasuke took off said headband. He was shocked. Naruto started to walk away. It was then that Sasuke realized that he was motivating him by being so, well, like him, because he was arrogant. And the trying to kill him part was the motivation that he needed to get up in the tree and also awaken these eyes. Sasuke watched him leave, not sure how to feel now. After all of that, Sasuke came in a few minutes later, Kakashi thanking Naruto for his help. Sasuke's mood seemed to have done a complete 180. As they sat down at the table and started to eat, Inari made his voice known. He started to rant about them not being able to defeat Gato and that they will all die. Naruto raised his hand, stopping the boy from talking. This Gato person that I've heard you talking about, the description that you gave me earlier, Tazuna, about the short midget who walks with a cane, who has no ninja training whatsoever, who can only rely on his money. Is this the Gato he's talking about? Tazuna nodded. Naruto got up as he walked around the chair and picked up Inari. What are you doing? Put me down! Tsunami got up. Don't worry, Naruto said. I'm not gonna hurt him or anything. as he dragged Iniri away. Tsunami turned towards Yujeo. Don't worry, he'll be just fine. Naruto can be a bit rough, but he wouldn't hurt a child. Well, at least I think, she said. The last part being a whisper that Kakashi heard. Iniri was baffled outside. How is this possible? He never knew that humans could fly like birds. I am a special person, said Naruto. As Naruto flew him a distance away. Where there was no people around the area, he scanned the area. Now, Naruto held his hand out. A ki blast formed in his hand. He pumped a bit of energy into it before he fired. The ki blasts leveled an entire small forest. Do you think Gato has the capability or the power to do something like that? Iniri was baffled as he lost his anger and his rage. Now just curious. How did you do that? Well, if I tell you, you're gonna have to stop being a whiny little brat. You say that there is no hope and there is no reason to keep on going. Then why don't I just drop you? What? Naruto threw Iniri to the side. Iniri screamed. However, Naruto caught him before he could hit the ground. See? If there was no hope, why did you try to save yourself? As Naruto blinked. Did you pee yourself? Iniri looked embarrassed. He was a child after all, and Naruto had just dropped him in mid-air. Naruto flew off before he found the nearby lake and threw the child inside. Hey! Iniri shouted. Don't give me any lip, said Naruto. You just pee yourself. Iniri looked away embarrassed. You're the one who dropped me, he said. And you're the one who were acting all big and mighty, but now you peed yourself. As I was saying, you tried to save yourself while you were falling. That meant there is some reason for you to go on. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about no hope. Because when this Gato eventually show his head, I'm gonna knock it off. Your people have suffered enough. And I hate weak, worthless people that believe they're all high and mighty because they have money. I'll show him that his money don't mean squat. As Naruto gazed up towards the heavens, a smirk on his face, Iniri didn't know why, but he felt this new hope bubbling up inside of him. As he looked towards this person in front of him that was able to do something that no other had been able to do since Kaido died. This person, this boy who was not even that much older than him, just a few years. Time skip. 2 weeks passed by rather quickly. In those 2 weeks, Naruto started to train Iniri, giving him something that he could use to fight back against people. Yes. However, at the end of that 2 weeks, Yujeo had tried to wake Naruto as they were heading towards the bridge, figuring that Zabuza would have recovered by now. However, he wasn't really a morning person, so they figured to let him stay after all. Yujeo was here. She was still a Anvu, but just taking a little break off. Granted, this was supposed to be Naruto's mission of helping them out, but she figured that he did enough and they could handle the rest, so they let him sleep. However, today was the day, and they encountered none other than Zabuza. Zabuza was back and pissed off. He was caught off guard. Yes, that is how he put it. He wasn't ready. He was caught off guard and attacked. He got his arm broken, and he wasn't able to fight back. A little bit of blood was able to fix his blade. Now he was back with a vengeance. Yujeo and Kakashi took him on, while the others handled Zabuza's apprentice. Sai and Sasuke went into the dome. Sasuke had 2 weeks to train with his Sharingan, so he was much better at handling the situation. Back at the house, Naruto was awoken to a ruckus. He glanced through the window as he saw Iniri had stabbed the guy in his right arm. His mother was behind him on the ground. Her leg seemed to got wounded in the altercation. She was screaming at him to run. There were two of them. Naruto stood there as he watched, but Iniri refused. Even as the guy ran forward, Iniri ran headfirst into danger. The guy was about to take his head off though. That was until Naruto stomped on the blade, allowing Iniri to stab the guy right in the side. Naruto chopped him in the throat and slammed a punch into his skull. Before he disappeared and reappeared behind the other one, he snapped his back, breaking his spine, before he tossed him into the water to drown. Naruto then jumped back up towards the window in a flash. Iniri watches the guy in front of him collapse. He did it. He took him down. He thought to himself. He thought he would feel bad after stabbing someone, but he did it to protect his mother. Mom, he said. Iniri. Despite the pain, she moved towards them. Tsunami was not sure, but she saw something. It had moved too fast for her eyes to truly focus. Naruto jumped down at that moment. It was the same clothing. She realized that it was him. Well, well, said Naruto. You work fast. I see that 2 weeks of training paid off. I did it. Look, Iniri said, pointing down towards him. I took him down. You were right. All I had to do was believe in myself. Naruto patted him on the head. And you did. And you won, said Naruto. Now, why don't you take your mom inside? I'll handle the rest. Iniri nodded. Go get them, he said. He made his way inside as Naruto dived into the water and grabbed the body. The guy had already lost oxygen and drowned already. However, he didn't want the corpse to be floating up for them to see. While the other one was unconscious, Naruto grabbed the both of them. He arrived at the bridge without them. As he landed, Naruto, Sakura said, as she breathed a sigh of relief, I'm so glad you're here. Sasuke and Sai are inside. They're fighting Zabuza apprentice. You have to help them. Naruto walked up towards the dome as he stopped right in front of it, peering through the gaps that he could see through. As he could see the both of them trying their best. Naruto could tell that Sai was not going all out. He wasn't sure who he was, but he could tell that he was not fighting at his fullest. But he was also making sure that Sasuke suffered no fatal wounds. Whoever he was here to watch Sasuke and also protect. That is what Naruto got from just a short few seconds of watching him. However, Sasuke was not strong enough. He was not. It doesn't matter if he had the Sharingan now. This person was stronger than him. But in time, boom! The entire ceiling exploded. Haku glanced up. Solar flare. Haku was blinded by the lights. As the mirrors were being shattered, instinct moved Haku out of the way. He leaped out of his mirror. He still could not see. Both Sai and Sasuke was also affected by the ricocheting lights. Sasuke more so as he dropped to his knees, gripping his eyes in pain. But that soon faded away. But Naruto figured that he could handle it. It was called a surprise attack for a reason. Haku blinked as he was now able to see. The cracks of the mask allowed the light to peer in. Not to mention the mirror made things a lot worse for him. The reflection properties. Haku realized there was another one. He had to end this quickly. He had wasted enough time. 2 senmons in his hand. He moved forward at incredible speed. When he reached Naruto, he disappeared. Raw speed as he appeared behind Naruto. Naruto turned and slugged him in the face. The mask broke. Haku was thrown as he bounced across the bridge, his head slamming into the railing with tremendous force. He was out like a light. I could have done that, Sasuke said, glaring up at Naruto. And what the hell was that? It affected us as well. Don't be such a baby. It's just light, said Naruto. You idiot. My eyes are more sensitive because of my Sharingan. Naruto walked over and bonked him on the head. Don't speak to your superiors that way. Sasuke glared up at him, but he kept quiet. Now, tie that one up, said Naruto, as he started to walk. I think something big is going to happen very soon. He could sense them, the life force of the ninjas. He could sense them all. Naruto, move forward. At the moment, Zabuza was screwed. He was about to be killed. He was stuck right in the middle, tired. Several cuts were all over him. However, Yuji's wrist was grabbed. Naruto? What the hell are you doing? She said. Calm down, little kitten, said Naruto. She glared at him. Things are about to get a lot more interested. As for you, said Naruto, I call this one key binding. He held his hand out, and the key formed around his hand. He threw it outwards. It wrapped around Zabuza as he collapsed down to the ground. Now stay put, Naruto said. What's going on? Kakashi said. The mist started to clear as clapping could be heard. I must say, that is a truly clap-worthy performance. I have to give it to you, Zabuza, to how worthless you actually are. Zabuza looked up with a glare, still surrounded by the key that was wrapped around him, stopping any movements. What are you doing here, Gato? I figured that I would come to make sure that you were truly handling business, but turns out that all you did was be a complete disappointment. And I have to say, it's a good thing I was never planning on paying you in the first place. My boys here, we're going to end your life in the long run. Zabuza grit his teeth in rage. You backstabbing midget, he said. Gato laughed. Say what you want, but I'm not going to be the one that's gonna die. You ninjas, I'm gonna give you one opportunity to run away. After all, as you can see, we have the numbers, he said. Behind him was all of his people. He was smiling. There was a lot of them. Naruto held his hand out. I've been wanting to try this against a large, horrible group like yourself. Naruto turned his hand and raised it. As he started to power up his attack, his whole body started glistening with a purple energy as he started to float off the bridge. Gato blinked. What is he doing? His hand was raised over his shoulder as a huge amount of energy was surrounding his whole body. As Naruto smiled, say goodbye. Gallic gun, he shouted, releasing the attack. It was a beam that shot from his hand radius. Gato's eyes went wide as he tried to run. His whole body was swallowed. So were the others. The stream incinerated all of them where they stood. They were not strong enough, nor did they have the capacity to hold back such a force like that. The bridge was completely untouched as it flew straight over and straight towards the water. It split the water in half before it eventually faded off down the horizon. Naruto clapped his hands as if brushing them off. Yuji blinked. What the hell was that? Just one of my many techniques. Awesome, right? I never knew you were capable of doing something like that. Because I've never done it in front of you before. Obviously, said Naruto. That's not what You know what? Yeah, she said. She was rather surprised. She knew that he could do a lot, but that was more than a lot. Kakashi was speechless. Zabuza realized that this child had far more power than he could have ever thought. And here he was hoping that he could see him and show him that what he did was pure coincidence. And that he caught him off guard. Huh. He would have died. Huh. It was so funny he started to laugh. He could still die even now. Wait, Whereas, as Haku was being pulled over to the group by Sasuke, Haku came too, looking around. Naruto looked down towards the both of them. He waved his hand as the key vanished from Zabuza. He got to his feet. I guess we're no longer enemies. No, said Naruto. However, I would like to fight you again. I believe I was too fast in my earlier fight. You weren't ready, and I have to say, I found out a lot more about you. They call you the demon of the mist, and I want to see this so-called demon for myself. That's the only reason I decided to save you after all. That's the only reason? So you did not know that Gato was gonna betray me? Well, I did sense him and his people, but... Well, that's not my problem, said Naruto. And your little apprentice over here. Haku's face was red, as Naruto punched and did quite the number, despite him holding back. Haku wondered who the hell was this individual, and how was he so strong? He was even older than him, and yet his strength dwarfed his. Naruto looked down, as his stomach rumbled. Maybe we'll fight another time. I'm hungry. As he said that, all the people arrived, Iniri and Tsunami, leading them. Her ankle bandaged up. She was walking proud. Huh, sorry, but it's all over, said Naruto. Iniri blinked. What? Gato is dead. He will no longer be bothering you people, said Naruto. Everyone felt this massive wave vanish off their shoulder. The wave was gone. It left them the moment they heard that. As many started to cry. Pure tears of joy. They were so happy. They were finally free. Because of him. Iniri started to tell them all. Time skip. Naruto looked up towards the bridge. Really good name, he said. The bridge was named the Great Naruto Bridge. They had spent the next 2 weeks here. And Iniri had known the perfect name for the bridge the moment he saw the completion. With the work and help of Team 7 and Naruto and Yujiro, the bridge was completed rather easily. The Great Naruto Bridge. Iniri had tears in his eyes as Naruto placed a hand in his head, telling him that he would visit him. After all, unlike many others, he could fly. So yeah, he could visit him. The people were grateful. Zabuza and Haku were long gone. They had made their way off a day after. As Zabuza still owed Naruto a fight, Yujiro had questioned him some more about his technique. She had no idea that he had something like that in his arsenal. That was just pure destruction. She had no idea that he could even do that. Time skip. Naruto was smiling. Big smiles. As he stood in front of a man that was oozing with power. Naruto, attack said man. The both of them started to clash. The fight was brutal as Naruto drive a fist in his face. The guy also drive his fist in Naruto's face. Yet, his head was the one that snapped to the right. Naruto flipped and dropped his heel into the guy's skull. He didn't allow him to fall as he grabbed him by the throat and lifted him up. Naruto delivered 8 punches to his gut that had him coughing up so much blood. Naruto snapped his right arm and kicked his head so hard. His neck seemed to snap to the side. His body leaned over in pain. Naruto kicked him across the face. His body boomed through at least 5 trees as he crashed hard. Naruto appeared above him and sunk a key blast into his stomach that obliterated the earth. The man was a broken mess when Naruto was finished. Of course, he was no longer breathing after all of that. Naruto turned as he saw Hinata. She was dragging an unconscious Kunoichi over towards him. Kunai was speechless. This was supposed to be a normal mission until Suyin attacked the village, the land of waterfalls. Shibuki was their client. They were bringing him back home. He was going to take his father, place as village leader. Hinata had surprised her by taking on one of the kunoichis and completely decimating her by herself. As for Naruto, after Shibuki failed, Naruto had stood there and watched, telling Shibuki to fight and giving it his all. And he would not help. Kurenai tried to intervene but he stopped her, telling her that he had to do this by himself. Shibuki did give it his all but he still lost. That is when Naruto stepped in, and he beat the living crap out of Suyin and ended his life. Hinata dropped the body at Naruto. Naruto smiled. "Great work, my apprentice," he said. Time skip. Team 10 was rather shocked, even Asuma, as they arrived to see 58 bodies on the ground, some unconscious, some dead. Naruto had taken on the entire squad and eviscerate them, while Team 10 was busy facing off against the leader. Naruto had taken on all the lesser members and brought them all down by himself. Well, that is not something you see every day, Ino said, completely shocked. Choji agreed. They were all scuffed up a bit. However, they came out on top. Time skip. Team 9. Their mission was completed. Lee threw his arm around Naruto's shoulder. He was smiling. "We shall have a spar once we return back to the village, Naruto-san," he said. "Sure thing," said Naruto. Another successful mission. Over the 2-month period, Naruto went on several different missions with several different teams, some of them solo as well. All the reports that Yujiro gave back to the Hokage, they were all good. No mission has been failed by him, even the dangerous solo ones. As Hiruzen started to up the ante, giving Naruto A rank, as he had moved from C to B now to A, because Naruto showed that he could do it. He could do it all. However, a big event was coming. A big event was going to be taking place in Konoha. That was the Chunin exams. While that was going on, a kunoichi was really pissed off. As she wrapped the tape around her hand, she straightened her headband, a Kumo headband. "I'm coming for you, Naruto Uzumaki," she said, with a dangerous glint in her eyes. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.